Good evening to you all. Thanks for being with us. Welcome along to 4-0 Easter Sunday Live. The four of us will soon be five of us back, all very excited, as you can tell by Jeff's face, to be back with you between now and 8 o'clock. Thank you very much indeed for finding some time to spend with us away from your Easter weekend, whatever you've been up to this bank holiday weekend as well. Got an extra day. Love it. If you're on the watch back as well, we should say, I know many of you will be. Welcome along to you as well. Plenty of you joining us in the comments already, and over 150 of you across YouTube and Facebook within 2 minutes. So thank you for all being punctual and early, as these four gents have been. Three gents. I'll include myself in it. The four gents have been. It is 3 on the trot for 4-0 Sunday Live appearances for this man live all the way from Malta. Good evening to you, Gaza.
Well, they're getting less now because we don't have that many left. So I thought I'd, get as many appearances as possible before the new season starts. So looking forward to it. Just a quick one before I start. I forgot last time when I was on last time. A young chap called James Cordry. Actually, I was on the train with him from Blackpool. I was on the train with him from Blackpool, getting the plane from Manchester. So I was chatting to him and his dad, and they kept me company. I said I'd give him a shout out last time, and I forgot. So I'm doing it now. And I'll probably muck that up as well. So anyway.
And can I just say
James,
home? Thank you. Hello, James. Apologies if there was a little expletive that crept out from Gaz there as well. I do apologise. Thanks for being with us all. Pepe, it is 4 Sunday Lives on the trot. For you, my son. The man I shared a Nando's with yesterday as well. And the Adams Park away in Limbs on Friday. What a weekend so far, mate.
Oh, yeah. What a great way to start the Easter weekend. That was a very comfortable win in the end. That turned out to be for Pompey. And yes, kick-started the Easter weekend very well. I've had a lovely roast today. And I'm hoping for 3 points on Tuesday night, Tom.
And backed by extremely popular demand, last but by absolutely no means least. And if I could just remind Jeff, if you wouldn't mind just turning the volume down on your iPad, because I'm getting a little bit of feedback in my right ear from yourself. A very good evening to the famous man from the podcast. How are you?
Hello, mate. You all right? Evening, gents.
We're all really pleased to see you. Everyone else is really pleased to see you in the chat below, including Ryan, who said, good evening, Tom and Co. That was a good start. Can't join you for the whole hour. But thanks for being with us nonetheless. Ryan is going for a 1-1. Pepe does love a Nando's, actually, Jake. We can say that for sure. We absolutely can. Yeah. Damon said, great job all season, guys. Adding atmosphere to a Pompey season. Play at Pompey from Arizona. Thank you very much indeed. Hello to Stephen. Welcome along to you. Justin wants to know how the weather is. Gaza, can we have a brief update?
It's dark out there at the moment. But
but
the weather is nice. It was a bit windy weekend, but the forecast for the next 7 days is bright and sunny.
Fantastic. Dan's doing all he can for a big week ahead. Looking forward to seeing Dan on Tuesday night. Hello to Alfie as well. Welcome along. Richard Pilgrim said, Michael Eyes, all the staff done an amazing job for the club. It's a very exciting time to be a Pompey fan. Right, what we should do is there's over 200 people of you that join us. We will crack straight on and head back. Before we reflect on Friday afternoon, we need to have a clip. Oh, my word, I'm messing my words up, just like Gaza. We're all so excited. I've done absolutely nothing, which is even worse. We'll have a quick reminder of it has been Sunday and it's been a very relaxed Sunday. Quick reminder of our Adams Park Easter cracker. Got it in the end. Good Friday, Andrew.
Good Friday, Tom. Indeed, it will be at 5:15.
They're a physical side. They've got some really good players. 4 points from an Easter weekend. Would you be happy with that?
I'd be content.
Us being as good as we are, I'll also take 6.
A lot of noise in this away, and there has been for the last half an hour.
Give it to Pat.
Very tidy side, Wycombe. It won't finish 2-1, I don't think. I think we need another one at least.
Pompey make it 9 unbeaten on Good Friday.
Play out Pompey! Play out Pompey.
All the best bits there from the game that confirmed Pompey's unbeaten March run as complete. There will very shortly be a man of the match poll up and running in the live chat down below. Before we do so, I think if everyone looks in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, that might be Barney from Fournilwrittenalloverit in the Express FM Football Hour. Good evening.
Good evening, Tom. Good evening, everyone.
Back-to-back Sunday lives.
Back-to-back Sunday lives, and I'm still sweating from I've literally finished golf 10 minutes ago. So hence the base layer, which will magically disappear in a minute once we're on another VT or something.
That's a very smart attire, Barn.
You look
Thank
great.
you. You know, you've got to represent the badge on the course, haven't you? Even if you are on the Eastern Road.
Absolutely. You've got to represent.
You look like a referee. That's great.
Slice of cheese for you then.
How did I know as soon as referees are mentioned, slice of cheese is coming? Jess said hello. Jess representing from the States. Barney's representing from the golf course. Jeff is representing from the States. Will a minimum draw of Tuesday? Oh, I think this is a question for Jeff. We'll get into that later on in the show. Bongo even thinks the same thing, Gaz. There we go. Barney is here and ready to go. Steve's enjoying the look back on those limbs as well. And Pepe, as always, as Pops is, he does love a bounce, don't you, my son? Loves a bounce.
Love a bounce.
Can't go wrong with a bit of a bounce. Gaz, fantastic performance. The first time, I was saying this to Pepe last night, the first time we've probably sat on a comfortable away win, at least away from home towards the end of the game, for quite some time, it feels.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, I mainly go to away games as well. And it's been a bit edgy. So shall we say that, 1-0 at Carlisle and, 0-0 at Blackpool. And to see them comfortably, well, it's still a bit edgy in the first half, I thought. Even though we got the early goal, they were still, Wycombe were still a good side. They were coming on to us. But yeah, obviously there was some great performances around the whole 11 from yesterday. But yeah, comfortable in the end. I thought well deserved, and puts us in a really good position, ready for Tuesday.
Pepe, we spoke about it last night, but you've kind of got to go back to Reading at Fratton, haven't you, for the last time we won a game by a 2-goal margin or more. Pleasing to see, and meant we weren't bricking it right up to the full-time whistle. Yeah,
absolutely. It was a very quick start like we saw against Oxford, and then literally exactly the same as Oxford, we were pegged back. And then I thought it was the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes even, were very cagey. There was a few Pompey mistakes, but as the game grew on and they got the second, it was sort of a more controlled, dominant Pompey display. And then the second half was just 100% Pompey, and Wycombe, other than hitting the bar with Luke Leahy with a free kick, just didn't get a look in. And then after our chat yesterday, I looked at sort of away performances that were comfortable, and there hasn't really been many this year. There's been a lot of 1-0s, cagey 2-1s, and you go back to Shrewsbury away in December, Northampton away when that was the best way to display the season, and then you go back to Reading away as well. So yeah, no, it was much needed. Very nice in the away end to have that relaxation with 3-1 going into the final 10 minutes. But yeah, another big win.
We just needed Jeff and Barney to stumble on their words, and then we're a full house of people that can't speak on 4-0 Sunday Live tonight. Jeff, a very good side, Wycombe, pressed us very well, and they were well informed before Friday, so that's a good win.
Yeah, I mean, they've changed their style in recent months, haven't they, since the change of manager and everything else, and they've been on a great run of form. But apart from the first opening salvo, the first 15 minutes, I thought we looked in control throughout that game. We caused them no end of problems down our right, down their left. You know, Luke Leahy's a very accomplished League One performer, and he had an absolute torrid time up against Abu Kamara.
Yeah, and one thing that struck me as well, Gaz, and it's actually been mentioned in the comments, and I had it in the script for tonight. But Scott's got there first and said we've done very well in terms of game management. We've been solving issues ourselves within games, and something we can never do. Sorry, this one's a Barney actually. Something we can never do under previous one-dimensional administrations is maybe a bit of a mean brush to paint Danny Cowley with. Was certainly the case under Kenny Jackett, but that it's our way or the highway, as opposed to the John Mousinho way, which is change it in game if it's not working. Yeah,
I think even the players managed themselves much better during the game. Yes, on Friday, I keep thinking it was yesterday. Marlon Pack 2-3 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, would have terrified me being on a yellow card that early.
Yes,
I was convinced on 60 minutes he'd get subbed, but then who else was the other centre mid? Moxon, thank you. Sorry, brain fart. There we go. There's my stumble. Moxon got his.
Oh,
yeah. Well, none of us get paid apart from Tom, so you know. Moxon got his yellow, and so kind of it shows that obviously Pack is pivotal. That if someone else is going to get a yellow in the centre of midfield, then they're going to go first, and Pack's got to stay on the field. All of that, like you say, in cahoots with the management team, the structure, the confidence that it looked like they had on the bench, even with Mousinho up in the stand. You had Zesh up in the left stand to us from where we were sat in the away end, Zesh and the other coach, the stats dude, Dan Ashby. Yeah, they were up obviously in the home terrace. So you've got views from all over. It's so much more structured, so much more well organised. And yeah, didn't even when it went 1-1, I still didn't feel worried. I still felt confident we'd get over the line.
Gaz, this in-game management sorting problems out, would you say that's down to your senior professionals? Barney's mentioned there, Marlon being able to coach from the pitch and adapt the boys accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, you've got leaders across the pitch, haven't we? And obviously, there's that togetherness as well. I mean, this squad at the moment is just it's like a proper brother. There's proper relationships going on, and it's just it's a togetherness that I haven't seen in a very long time. Normally, there's like that. Even if they're getting substituted, they're spitting their dummy out, but not these guys. They're literally, they're playing for the badge, and then obviously, players that are coming off the bench, the likes of the White, Yengi's coming on, and they just want to add more to the starting 11 when they come on. So yeah, absolutely. Mousinho's got this group of players really, really, really together.
Jeff, I mentioned it to Barney on the way out on Friday. We looked fearless. We look quite relaxed at times as well. I thought there's an energy about us. The most fist pumps we've seen from various members of the playing squad at full time as well.
Yeah, I think there's we saw it when we were out in Spain, didn't we? That togetherness and
there it is. The Jeff Spain mention. It's in. Yeah, it was coming.
He's got that on the 15 minutes in.
Look, there we go. Look, we saw that togetherness out there in its infancy, and it's just grown and grown and grown. It's that like that big boulder in the Indiana Jones film. It's just grown momentum, and it's just carried on, hasn't it? And it's like I've always said, there's this symbiotic state between the fans and the team. When the two are unified, Fratton Park and Portsmouth is just an unstoppable force, and we can take that into Tuesday night, and under the lights has turned into a very special evening again. It's always been special at Fratton Park, but I think over the recent years it's kind of dipped off. We haven't really had too many magical nights under the lights, but this season they've turned it around, and Fratton Park under the lights is just unstoppable at the moment.
And one to come on Tuesday, which we will chat about later on in the show. We are already a quarter of the way through tonight's 4-0 Sunday Live. There are over 260 of you that join us across YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for being with us. I might need to do a little bit of refresh. Only 38 likes on the YouTube stream, and there's 256 in there. Ladies and gents, if you join what you're seeing, drop a like. It means even more people will come and join us, and the panel will maybe even stay till 8 o'clock if we get the lights up. So hopefully that's the case. Boyd said, Neil said, we've lost 4 out of the games out of the last 51. We could still afford to lose 4 from the next 6. We could actually draw every game to the end of the season and still go up, which is quite remarkable. Dan said, big shout out to Zach Swanson. Yes, one of his best performances is a Pompey shirt. And that has reminded me, there is a live poll in the live chat down below. So while you're leaving a like, you can also leave your vote in the live poll down below on your man of the match. Your choices this evening are Zach Swanson, Christian Saydee, Abu Kamara and Colby Bishop. There is a front runner already. We will get back to that very soon. First goal then, Peps. Good to see the tempo set early with a goal. That's exactly what we got, albeit it took a little while to go in.
Yeah, I mean, from our angle, I couldn't tell if it was going in or not. But then when you saw Bishop pulling away, and everyone celebrating, it was carnage 2 minutes in. And I thought, here we go, we're getting ready for the game. But it was high intensity very early on from Portsmouth. And it's just good seeing that fresh bit of energy straight out the blocks. And any doubters out there that were like, oh, Wycombe, it's going to be a cagey affair, it's going to be tough, they'll play for a draw. That went straight out the window within the first 2 minutes, getting the goal early doors and sort of setting the tempo early on, albeit with that Wycombe goal 3 minutes later. But it sort of set the tone for the game. Other than that 10-15 minute spell Wycombe had, it was all Pompey. And it's good to see. And it's great to see from a side who are now 6 games away from the Championship, who still play this intensity after 40 games and still want to come fighting in games. So it's got that promotion mentality, Tom. And what is it, 8 points now? And I'm loving it.
That pays, doesn't it? Well, I mean, we're going to talk about it later on, but it could be slightly less than 6 games from the Championship, potentially. The equaliser barn, for the first time this season, I said it in the video, I felt like we responded pretty poorly to scoring the first goal, something you never really associate with this side. But then we did what we do best this season and find a way to get back in front pretty easily.
Yeah, there was a certain amount of fortune to their goal anyway, because Pack kind of gives it away a little bit sloppily on the edge of our box, on the left-hand edge of our box. And then I'm not sure if it's a shot or a cross that the lad has on the edge of the box, but that then deflects to another player right in front of our goal. You've got a fortune and a mistake to make that goal. It wasn't like it was a pure football move from Wycombe. I mean, the setup and the assist, the composure for that was great, and the finish was calm and straight under Norris. He's put it in a fantastic place, kind of right next to his leg, where it's awkward if Norris doesn't use his legs much, really, does he? He definitely likes to get down, so he's put it in a great place that it's going to be really tough for him to get down that quick. So it's a good finish, but definitely an element of fortune that I didn't give me any kind of worry. Like I said, I was still calm and confident that we were going to move forward and get more goals like we did.
And we did indeed get more goals, Gaz. Colby bagged the brace in just under half an hour's time. Very similar to the first, of course. Kamara isolated, hugging that touchline as we like him to, and lovely little flick as well.
Yeah, and that's what he does best, doesn't he? You know, literally his magic hat was on Friday for sure. I mean, he's just one of them sort of poachers' goals, isn't it? He's like doesn't have to do the screamers outside the box. He's always outside the box, or he's always in the box. He's always causing havoc. He must be a defender's nightmare because he literally drops his shoulder. He's always in the right place. But, you know, you got to give credit for the whole build-up to that game, that goal, because Kamara was literally, touching, the white line all the way down there. Then he cuts inside. It's a menace. And for us to have him on our squad it's phenomenal. His stats have gone through the roof these last, I wouldn't say all season, obviously, but probably the last month or two, he's literally started really developing into a really good player.
Jeff, talk me through the third from Christian Saydee baby. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a well-worked goal. Kamara showed great football intelligence to dink that ball up to the back post initially, but he just wanted Christian Saydee to put his laces through it. And, this is a guy on confidence now. He had his first league goal not so long ago, and now everyone was willing him to just lace it straight into the back of the goal, and it went in. And you can see by the crowd reaction, it was, everyone loved it. Christian Saydee's got one of those infectious personalities. He's shown great resilience. He's been in and out the side. I think when he was brought in as one for more like the future. It's his second bite of the cherry being at Pompey. He was here originally under the Cowleys on trial, but that's a well-worked goal, and he done everything technique-wise. He hit it down into the ground. It bounces before the keeper and it goes up and it goes in. That's what you want. That's what you coach in those finishing positions, and he executed it perfectly.
Pepe, something that would have been packaged up in the highlights would have been the really easy on the eye moves from Pompey. I said to my dad on the way, hey, we can play some really lovely football. And we got second stumble of the night. And we demonstrated that on Friday.
Absolutely. I think all three of the goals were well worked. You don't really see them in the highlights, but the build-up, I think, for the second goal was phenomenal. With Saydee turning and then releasing Kamara. And Kamara, again, was unplayable. And the first two goals were really carbon copy, weren't they? It was Kamara out to the right and find Bishop in the middle. And then the third one, my gosh, Paddy Lane's ball from the left-hand side to the right-hand side to find Kamara before the third is just phenomenal. And yeah, they were playing some really, really nice football, passing. There was a bit of frustration when there was like passing around the back, which you usually get, but it always leads to an attack and it always leads to something punishing. And Pompey, that's what Pompey have done really well this season, is sort of tiring teams out in a way with their endless passing, try and come at us, press us, and then expose that press. And that's what they've done so well this season. And Wycombe was again exactly the same.
Let's talk about that man, Abu Kamara, then, Gaz, in the absolute form of his life recently, as we can see. So many goal contributions of late.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably got just before that was the Carlisle game, what we went to. That ball that he put through for Paddy. He had a great game, that one as well. But yeah, contribution-wise, like I said before, he's a menace. He's got, he's literally got an eye. He's running at defenders. And also he's got, that defensive quality as well, where he's coming back and he's helping out as well. I mean, he's got a really good engine in him. And considering he's, the frame on him, he doesn't look, all stocky and all that, but he manages to, get himself about. He's not bullied about. And obviously he's a favourite for the fans as well, because, we just love someone that puts a shirt on and gives us 100%. So, yeah, I mean, his stats, I mean, that not just his stats, but all the players' stats, they're all equally good. Aren't they? Because how many times we're not choosing someone for a scapegoat like we've done before in the past. They've had a bad game and they've cost us goals. We haven't got that this season. Literally, it's just everyone's playing really well.
Yeah, Jeff mentioned it at the top of the show, Barn, how Abu Kamara gave Luke Leahy the real run around and gave him I think it was a torrid afternoon. Jeff described it as, which I couldn't have put it better myself. A goal contribution of some kind on Tuesday, Barn, would take Abu Kamara to 7 goals or assists in his last 10 games.
It's a perfectly solid amount when you say it that. It doesn't actually. I thought it'd be more than that in the last 10 games, because I mean he's basically got. It's more like a hat trick of assists on Saturday. The fact that he's only been granted 2 is unfair, because he set up Saydee and both Bishop's goals. He's done all the hard work for them. He's just fantastic. We've just got to sign him up. I think he's one of those players that he's proved he can do it. So why wouldn't we go and do everything we can to try and sign him? The only thing that could stop that, obviously, is he's going to have played so well for us. Norwich are going to be going, well, hang on a minute. We'll keep him ourselves here. I've not done my research to find out if their right wing has been on form or not, but I feel like perhaps that's something we'll do during the next segment or something. But yeah, you could see Leahy really was wound up towards the end, because when he then gave that sort of shocking tackle on him towards the end of the second half, you had Bishop coming up to him. Oh my God, words tonight. Swanson, both giving him stick, like both pushing him like, well, mate, yeah, nice one. Yeah, you could have hurt him. Like I get a professional foul, but that was like on the borderline of being reckless, because he's not trying to get the ball at all, and he's not even just brought him down. Like he's stuck a whole leg in front of him, to the point where Kamara's had to go over him, and at the speed he was running at that moment, could have ended up in a lot worse position than he did.
I'm surprised Tom nailed.
Same player that shushed the Pompey fans when Wycombe scored.
Yeah, Jess mentioned this on their very famous and brilliant podcast, that you should never shush the Fratton end when you go a goal up. It really does come back to bite you. The other thing I was going to say as well on that challenge as well, I'm quite surprised the referee didn't pull out the red, because it actually reminded me of the John McGinn Aston Villa, if anyone saw that a couple of weeks ago, getting absolutely nowhere near the ball. Kamara's at not full pelt, but he's running at pace and he just swipes him out and just. I think it's the kids call it a clothesline, don't they? So maybe
he took his time to bring out the yellow, didn't he? I thought
he did.
Taking his time, I was like, oh, maybe he could bring out the red, but It wasn't the be all or end all.
No, and it made absolutely no material difference at the end, did it? I want to speak about this man on the screen, Jeff, Colby. Even last weekend, I remember you saying, yes, Yengi and White get all the plaudits for the Peterborough goal, but Bishop deserves a lot more credit for that one as well. You must be so proud of him after his shift, particularly Friday afternoon.
I've always rated Colby Bishop. I've rated Colby Bishop when he was at Atkinson Stanley. You know, although Dion Charles was always my first choice to be signing for Pompey out from the two of them at Atkinson. Right Bishop off at your peril. You know, some of the social media comments as the lineup was announced on Friday was just unjust, I thought. If you can't see that Yengi's just travelled halfway around the world and probably jet lagged and wasn't going to last anything longer than half hour, yeah, he's a fit lad and he's full of exuberance and energy. But as John Harley mentioned at full time, Colby Bishop's had a great 2 weeks training, and he's obviously done really well, and he's backed that up with a brace on Friday. And to get 18 goals, and people are saying Yengi's the better striker, I think they complement each other well. I just think we're fortunate enough to have two really good strikers, and it's horses for courses. If you want to play in behind, you play Yengi. If you want someone to be the focal point and hold the ball up and be that poacher in the 6-yard box. If you look at the stats of Colby Bishop's goals, he's very economical in between the two posts and the penalty spot. You look at Yengi, he likes to take his player out a little bit wide and score from those acute angles more. But look, Colby Bishop, he's definitely a player, and he's definitely the type of player you need in a championship side for those times where it's going to be a lot harder against those defenders. I actually think Yengi and Bishop can play up top together, a bit like Bishop and Dion Charles at Atkinson. I think if you drop Bishop into the hole in a kind of a 4-2-4 rather than a 4-4-2, he can be that focal point. He can do that. And when the centre halves are tired from chasing after Yengi, you switch him around and play Yengi in the hole, and then you put Bishop up there to absolutely batter him for the last half hour.
How great is it, Gaz, that you've got Colby, who, yes, might not have had the best season he would have wanted, but will still break 20 goals with probably a handful of games still to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at last season. We've said this before. Last season, we had the worst midfield, not worst midfield. It was just circumstances with injuries and suspensions, and he still managed to get 20 goals on a midfield that was disjointed all last season. This season, 18 goals already, and obviously we've got goals now coming from all around the squad. So we're not just relying heavily on him. So that's a little bit of weight off his shoulders, I think, a little bit. And he's doing, like Jeff said, it's horse for course. He's a hold up a ball. He's always there challenging when Norris kicks it up front. He's trying for that nod on for a Lane or for a Kamara. He does a lot of work off the ball as opposed to just scoring the goals. And I think you need that when you're just up there on your own. But like Jeff said, yeah, you can play both of them. But then obviously you play both there, then there's a little bit disjointed maybe in midfield. I mean, we'd love to play, them together, but Mousinho's he's a magician. He manages to get, and everyone's happy. Everyone's still getting game times, aren't they? And you saw it at the end of that game. They're all celebrating. Evans coming on. He looks like a good player for that. To get us over the line. These are how many injuries as well this season, and we're still, a squad that's still top of the league. It's unbelievable.
I saw on Twitter today a load of Bolton fans were tears in their eyes about the number of injuries they had. I just thought, try Pompey, mate. Try Pompey. And we're still achieving what we're achieving. I just had a message from someone who follows the channel profusely, and apparently the Rams Talk podcast I did a couple of days ago has just gone live on their channel at 7:00. It said to me, how can you be in two places at once, and didn't realise that had been pre-recorded. So here on Fournilwrittenalloverit and Rams Talk podcast, if you want to go and see what I said to a couple of Derby fans earlier on in the week. We're going to get on to player ratings. I wanted to add a whole section on Yengi's form and Colby, but that's going to have to be shelved for now. We are slightly behind, but it is 7:30. Good evening and welcome to 4-0 Sunday Live, 4-0 Easter Sunday Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Nearly 300 of you join us in the live chat below. So thank you for being with us. Let us know what you made of every player's individual performance. Don't have to go through the one by one, but any thoughts in the comments are always welcome. We'll get to those very shortly. Following Friday's games, Barn, confirmation that Pompey have the most away points from this season than any other side in the top 4 leagues of English football thus far. And there's a lot of greens on that board. Paddy Lane, I think, has been served a bit of a disjustice, and obviously the yellow card for Will Norris. But other than that, it's a pretty solid showing.
Yeah, Lane was quite quiet by his standards. He came a bit more into the game in the second half, but in the first half he seemed a little bit off of it. He and Ogilvie seemed to take it in turns to receive Norris's attempted cross-field balls, the kind of Christian Burgess style ball I think of it as. He sort of goes to the edge of his box and then cuts across the pitch, and it's a great ball when he gets it, but he definitely needs to practice it more because it only probably lands in the right area for them to pick it up about 30-40% of the time. But yeah, first half, that's probably where that rating comes from, because I think Lane gave it away a few times and even ran it out of play once, which looked a little bit sloppy. My unsung hero was Saydee. I think his hold-up play was fantastic. At times he had 2 or 3 men. He had his back to goal, holding the ball up, but he's then managed to release it round himself with Kamara running onto it. You know, if you can say that you can have an assist to an assist, I'm pretty sure 2 of the 3 were again from Saydee. He's only not got the third because he scored it. It's I think the way he's moulded into the squad, the improvement in his game has been fantastic. I'm really chuffed to have seen him develop as he has, and he seems like I saw one of the comments earlier. If you want to find it and chuck it on screen, it said, "Has Saydee become a pivotal part of this squad?" Yes, he has. Fantastic.
Can't find it. Sorry.
I'll
keep scrolling and try and find it. Perhaps we'll a word on Christian Saydee. Actually, Barney's outlined him there, but he is, and I saw it. I don't know where I saw it, but the kind of player that you wouldn't want to be on loan is such a great way to describe him. Such a popular guy. Jeff mentioned him earlier on in the show. He does quite literally have his own postcode when he's on the ball, doesn't he? And also, we should say, he was completely out the squad and in the cold just a few short weeks ago. So a brilliant story of getting back in the groove, and what a fantastic young man.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been sort of the main man over the last couple of weeks. Who's got the headlines other than Yengi. All John Mousinho's post matches, interviews, all like about Christian Saydee and how much he's come from being out the squad 8 weeks ago or something. His last outing was against Leyton Orient, and then we didn't see him for a month. Didn't make any of the squads, and then come back a couple of weeks ago, and has just been a revelation. Really, he's just a powerhouse. He's sort of got all the attributes really: power, strength. He can drive with the ball, like we saw. He can find the ball. He can ping the ball left, right, and he's just sort of pivotal in Pompey's attack at the moment. It just adds a different dimension. Great hold-up play, and is just so strong with the ball. And I just think it's amazing to have. And you mentioned about you don't want him on loan. It'd be one of those players where you don't want to fall in love with a loan player because everyone loves him. Everyone at the football club loves him. He's just got a smile on his face. And when the third goal went in on Friday, everyone was just so pleased for him. It's his second now in a couple of weeks. And yeah, long may it continue.
And you wouldn't want to play against him, would you, Gaz, Christian Saydee?
No, I mean, I was about to mention there, obviously we saw him at Peterborough and I was actually loving it. And we were actually solid when he was in the team, wasn't he? He was actually, bossing it himself. But when he picked up that injury and then he went off, it was a bit of a worry then because it was like, oh, he's gone off. And then it was like, oh, is he going to come back stronger, fitter, etc.? But look at him. We've obviously done well to get him rehabbed and he's come back fighting fit. And everyone speaks really highly of him afterwards, saying Saydee such a nice guy. He's got a smile on his face, etc. And obviously, is another fan's favourite. I know we always say never fall in love with someone on loan, but I love them all, whether they're loaner or signed. I just love every single one of these players, staff, coach, and fans. Everything about Pompey, I love.
Yeah, you can't not love it. And just to come back to the player ratings, Jeff, are there any on there that you contest or change, or do you reckon that's pretty much bang on?
I think that's pretty much bang on. Actually, I think Lane should be lower. Controversial, but for me, if you look at wingers, I guys, we're of a generation where your wingers stay out wide. And you stay out wide and you put the assists in. You look at the difference between a modern day winger who wants to cut in, play in that half space, get shots away. And go back to Bishop. Bishop is a centre forward who fires off crosses. It's no coincidence that Kamara staying out wide on the right and using his weaker foot, or sometimes cutting in on his left and crossing it in with his left. Bishop is thriving off that. You look at Lane for me is so infuriating, especially at home at Fratton Park. He wants to play in that half space when there's times when you want him wide and stay wide to move that fullback out, to let the midfield run into those spaces. But Lane has taken up that space. So I think, again, it's just that football. Don't get me wrong, he's had a great season. He's scored 11 goals this season, 6 assists. But you look at Kamara's got 10 assists this season, something like that. I want to see more assists from Lane. I want to see him going on the outside and using his left foot to curl that ball in and pull it back. There's times where the last home game, Pack was telling Lane to make the run down the line. Now, he's not going to get the ball, but you need him to make that run to either take the full back with him to create that space for Pack or Ogilvy to move into, or he doesn't go, but he's then giving the defender something to think about if the play then progresses up the field another 10 yards. And for me, I think that's where Lane lets himself down. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player and he's had a phenomenal season, but I just want him to stay wide a bit more. I want him to make those intelligent runs. It's about what you do off the ball and those runs you do off the ball to make the others get the space. And I think if he adds that to his game, those scores will be in 7.4s and 7.5s.
Danny said, go on, Bum.
I was just going to say about the right back for Wycombe, whoever it was, had actually a really good game against Lane. Like I said, about the sort of only 30-40%, I reckon, of Norris's crossfield passes made them to either Lane or Ogilvy. Half of them were long and half of them were cut out by the right back. I think he had Lane in his pocket somewhat during most of the game. So I'd agree with Jeff that I think 6.9 is impressive, considering I think FOTMob starts you at 6 and goes up from there. So I'd say 6.9 is generous. I'd just kept him at a solid 6. He didn't do anything bad or wrong, but he certainly, I wouldn't have said added anything particularly well. If anything, it was Ogilvy. Ogilvy was with the overlaps that's made him perhaps get up to 7.2, that he's put balls into dangerous areas and maybe help the XG a little bit.
Nice problems to have when your left wing is only a 6.9. We're talking about him this way.
I know.
Excuse me. Danny Cousins said, Moxon slotted in alongside Pack, so seamlessly he's negated any damage from Morel season-ending injury, which is what we were all hoping for. I remember tweeting about it at the time when he came in under the radar a bit, but done a good job. AP said, I hope for the next 3 games, at least Derby and Bolton get injured players just as bad, but our better players are coming back. Little bit. So let's hope for the same as well. AP, I think we'll all be feeling the same. Now we're going to speak about a very special man now, and it's obviously not one of the members of these panel because they're all very special men. But I wanted to mention Super John Mousinho, who's been absolutely outrageous, and his win percentage, would you believe, Pepe, is, as outlined by Ollie Birch on Twitter, is now 54.2%, which is the highest. Love that. Highest of any Pompey manager for 120 years, would you believe?
That's some stat, isn't it? It's some stat. I just love it at the moment. 4 losses in the last 51 League One games. That's a great stat. And we've just been a juggernaut really all season. It's Pompey fans obviously had their doubts throughout the season. Oh, we're not going to do it. We're going to collapse. Other fans, Derby fans, Bolton fans across League One, Barnsley fans were saying Pompey have got it in them. They'll bottle it. And John Mousinho has just sort of built this new culture that we haven't really seen at Portsmouth over the last couple of years. This winning mentality, 13 unbeaten now, in times over the last few seasons where we've completely collapsed, we've completely folded. We're getting wins at places we don't usually get wins. We turned over a team on Friday who would take a point a couple of years ago, playing against Wycombe. So he's just such a good manager, and I'm so glad he's leading us into the Championship. There's no other man that I'd want to do that, and I can't lie. I think maybe with 1 or 2 improvements, I think we're safe next year. I think the team that we've got here, the coaching staff, the backroom staff with Rich Hughes as well, it's just there's that winning culture at the club at the moment. There's a feel-good factor, and John Mousinho fronts that, and he's the man that can really sort of help us in the Championship next year, and who knows where we can push on beyond that if he's still here, because he'll have clubs knocking for him in a year or 2.
Oh, he'll be here, mate. He'll be here. I know what you mean. I mean, it's amazing how, Andy Cullen and Richard Hughes take a punt, and for legal reasons that was PUNT, and then all of a sudden all these championship suitors come in, and he's, remember the Plymouth rumours when that job was vacant? That was
he's been linked with like half the bottom half of the championship this season alone. So who knows, if we were to play well in the championship next year, then he'll have teams high up the championship or even low in Premier League, because we play amazing football, and there's a reason why we're on 86 points after 40 games, and he's a main part of that.
Gaz, this season, his first full season in charge, Mousinho, of course, he's won just short of 62% of his games. Pompey's very first manager in charge, Frank Brettel, between 1898 and 1901, is the only manager to better that in a season. He could beat that record of a win percentage if we win 5 out of the last 6, but we'll see. Yeah. The special John.
Yeah, but he's definitely special. And I think, whoever was coaching him on the coaching courses must be like clapping his hands, because the courses work, obviously, because it's still fresh in John's head. I mean, obviously, being a player not long ago, he knows the game, he knows the players. And I think he was rightly saying, was it the PFA players, chairman, spokesman, where, he gets voted. And so, he's a likable guy. So I think he's obviously, made this nice environment where players, he's approachable. But he's obviously tactically very astute as well, and which is weird, because obviously being a defender, I'm not criticizing some some coaches and stuff like that, but as a defender going into a coaching role, you've got to know all the joints, shall we say. But he's just been blessed, I think, with recruitment. That's another department where Richie Hughes and everyone else involved with the actual recruitment. He's obviously looked at players and thought, this is how I want to play football. I want these sort of guys, and and they've gone out and they've got them. We knew from the early stages of the window from last year, the statement that Pompey basically put, and it's literally come to fruit now. We're literally on the verge of a really good, fantastic season to take us into the championship. And Mousinho has done absolutely, for me, faultless. I mean, sometimes, even afterwards, I'm engaged in his conversations. I'm looking forward to his post-match, because some managers, it's just rinse and repeat. Some people, they'll moan about a referee, they'll moan about this, and not actually, but because sometimes we listen to it, so did you actually watch the same game that I watched? It's like they try and defend themselves for the sake of it, So
there's no cliches, is there, with Mousinho?
Exactly. It's literally white is white, black's black. He tells it how it is. Yeah, we weren't great in the first half. Yeah, we've come out in the second half. Even if when we've won a game, he's still critical, saying, look, we could have played better. And I just like his honesty. And I think, obviously the fans, again, they love him as well. So yeah, absolutely love the guy.
We are now approaching everyone's favourite part of the show. Jeff might not know what we do, but we always look at this graph, which is getting closer and closer to us achieving what we set out to. Not only is it getting closer and closer, Jeff, but Pompey have now taken 26 points from an available 30 in our last 10 games. That is the kind of promotion form we need, arriving just at the right time.
Definitely, another cliche, goals win games, but defences win championships, don't they? And our back, whatever our back four is, and Will Norris, they've done an amazing job. The goals conceded is far less than what I think anyone had anticipated. And I think Sean Raggett has played a pivotal part in that since coming back into the side. But you look at how, like I said earlier, how economical we are going forward. You look at the chances created compared to the chances scored. We really, really are economical in that sense. I had us down to get 94 points this season, and anything past that is going to be. I think generally we'll go past 94 points.
And interestingly, that the forecasted auto promotion's only 89 now, which has come down significantly. Barn, graph's looking good, and all of that means that Pompey top the table, 11 points clear, and we should say, and not getting too excited, but should we win both the games this week and results are favourable elsewhere, we could have confirmed a championship spot as early as this time next weekend.
It's crazy that it's going to be, or it could happen this early. I was convinced that if it was going to happen, it would be like the League Two season, where, you know, we'd perhaps have a second little drop off. We'd fall to second, maybe third. You know, don't forget Bolton have still got three games in hand. They're only 5 points behind us. Sorry, Bolton. I thought that there would be another drop, and it's just not materialised. We've just been consistent. Again, agree with Jeff that I think Raggett has been fantastic coming back in. I think many Pompey fans would be lying if they didn't say that they were terrified when Paul got injured. But he's been absolutely fantastic. I'd say,
or even McIntyre.
Well, and McIntyre as well, obviously, yeah. But I mean, he and Shaughnessy, of the two, they've both been fantastic. But I'd say Rackett's been even better than Shaughnessy. It's just bonkers to see that we could be, I wouldn't quite say running away with it. I think we'd be very lucky to be beating Derby on Tuesday. I think they're just a fantastic team as well. So I think we're going to have a really, really strong performance to actually beat them. So I'll be shocked if it happens in 2 games, but maybe 3.
Just before we preview a massive game against Derby approaching on Tuesday, we've got just under 15 minutes to go here on 4-0 Sunday Live. Thank you to all of you for still being with us. Well over 300 of you in the live chat down below as well, which is fantastic to see. A Wembley win for Pompey in the most dramatic of styles 5 years ago to the day. Very happy Pompey memory made for all. Yes, I look young. Yes, there's no facial hair. We're all adults.
I wasn't ready for that. That was a bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, so thanks, Prick. So yeah, it was coming. I knew it was coming.
I was on the other side. I was on the other side there looking down at you.
Gaz, I know you were there, weren't you? What a day that was.
Yeah, it was a great day. Yeah, flew over, went to down to Porto, and then the guy that got them in the ticket, Steve Higgins, bless him, he did his back in, and then he couldn't even go to the game. So he was like, he was gutted. So yeah, I managed to get my ticket sorted out up on the Green Man, up on the hill, and then down to Wembley, and it was just a great occasion. I mean, fair play to Sunderland. You know, they come down their numbers, and again, one of the biggest attendances at Wembley. I mean, what a day, what a spectacle. I mean, not like it is now for this, was it the Bristol's Paint Pot Trophy or something? Yeah, 10 days.
It's not going to be quite like that next weekend, is it? But Barney, did you go to Wembley?
Why do I feel like you're about to put a certain picture?
Oh yes, of course he did. Yes, he was there. There he is.
I had possibly, I genuinely think, the most prime seat. I was bang centre in the middle of that tier behind the goal. I was a few beers in, trend in my life. Stood up on my chair, giving it large, and then about 2 weeks after the game, a friend spotted this picture on. They kept using a few different pictures from the game about, fan stories of this, that, the other, and someone tagged me in it like, isn't that you? I hadn't even seen it for weeks after the game, so yeah, it's possibly my favourite football picture.
Happy memories. We've only got 10 minutes to go, so we'll get on to the Derby chat now. Before we go into anything, we should say that Jeff's predictions are coming up very shortly as well. And I don't know what you've got us on, Jeff. I might check the screen. I think it might be a draw. Am I right in saying that you might have us on a draw?
I understand. Bearing in mind I made these back in February.
But would you still go with the draw if you had the power to change it, which of course you don't? What would you say?
I think on current form, I think we'll sneak it by a goal.
I was about to say, I'm expecting a very similar game to the Peterborough one, where it's two high-quality sides, lots of chances, and then it's just decided on one moment. Peps, Derby have kept the most clean sheets in League One. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang has created the most chances in League One this season. And when you look at comparing the two sides, there really isn't an awful lot in it.
No, absolutely. And that's the reason why they're first and second in League One. They've been the best and second best teams this season, and Pompey closely followed in second, I think, with a clean sheet record as well. 17, 18 clean sheets this season, isn't it? Something along those lines. So yeah, it's going to be a very close game. It's going to be a very tight game, but if Pompey do win it, then that's pretty much the title but sealed, because that would then be 8 points, the gap to Derby, and with a game in hand. So it could be the gap to Derby 11 points by the time we play Barnsley, sorry. But that could also switch if Derby do come to Fratton Park and win. But I think it's always a special occasion. Someone mentioned it earlier in the show. Fratton Park under the lights is formidable. It's a fortress on TV as well. And we saw it back in December, wasn't it? Against Bolton. That was under the lights on Sky, and it was just such a good atmosphere. And Pompey converted that on the pitch with a 2-0 win. And it's going to be another one of those occasions. It's going to be a party atmosphere, and everyone's going to be up for it. Derby are also bringing good set of fans. So, yeah, it's going to be a feisty occasion. But, yeah, Derby won't be any pushover, without a doubt. They want to prove themselves, and they obviously want to win the title as well. So it's going to be a good game of football, but I think Pompey will just edge it.
Hoping to get the famous podcast man in the video. Barn, will you be making some kind of appearance and a swing by on Fournil written all over it?
I'll come and see you Tuesday.
Good man.
I would expect I will. It would depend on the beer that is consumed that's staggeringly good beforehand.
There's a theme developing here tonight, isn't there?
I don't have a problem. I'm functioning. It's fine. The two little things I wanted to say about the Derby game. There's two things going on Twitter. I've seen people are trying to raise to get everyone to do ticker tape, like get loads of newspapers, cut up old school, and have a big ticker tape explosion as the players come out. And also, if anyone's ever had a Pompey flag, an England flag, probably in the right colours to make all those people happy, bring that along, and just try and bring some old school sort of vibes to the ground. What a picture that would be on the telly, just to make Fratton Park look even better than it normally does.
They'll rattle.
No, not those. No, it's not. No. Like there's a load of Leicester fans that have them, isn't they? They can stay there.
Someone in the South Stand has a rattle.
Yeah, it's me, Jeff. Dan said we owe Derby for 87 will score twice a win. A 2-0, don't see them scoring from visible comment. Gaz, how you seeing Derby on Tuesday, mate? Because it's I don't know whether it's bigging it up, but it's probably our biggest game in a decade or so.
Yes, it's massive. And the good thing is, obviously, we'll know what happened on Monday. Obviously, Monday there's going to be some big games, obviously, behind us. So we'll keep an eye on them on Monday. We get an extra day's refreshed, ready for Tuesday. It's going to be under the lights. It's going to be packed. It's going to be party atmosphere. It's going to be bouncing around. It's going to be some, without obviously the pyrotechnics and stuff like that, but it will be hostile. I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, I've got to watch it on the iFollow because I'm not over until Bolton. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Peps, what we're saying score-wise?
Oh, it's going to be tight, but if Pompey get the first goal, then I don't see anything other than a Pompey win. It's going to be tight. There's going to be goals, but I reckon a 2-1 Pompey.
It's time to get your score predictions in the live chat. We've got 5 minutes to go here on 4-0 Sunday Live. Hello to Wayne. He said 3-2 Pompey. Place will be rocking. Pete's going for a 4-0 written all over on Tuesday. Pete, if that happened, Pete, there would be the tears in the eyes before we even got promoted, I think. That would be unbelievable. Brian's saying 2-1, AP saying a 1-1. Speaking of predictions, Jeff, we mentioned it just now. You're a bit of a supremo at this. Heads in the hands already. Let's have a look at Jeff's prediction, everybody. Let's see what he's gone to. Oh, no, that's the League One table. What are we thinking? So we've got Carlisle. You might want to talk us through these, Jeff, but Carlisle was a win. Cambridge was a win. Reading was a win. You've correctly predicted Charlton, Oxford, Blackpool, Burton. Not sure what was going on for Peterborough, but I'm glad that was the actual result, was the win. Wycombe, you got correct. So law of averages say Derby's probably going to be spot on as well.
Yeah, like I said, you can see right at the top there, I created it on the 7th of February. And it's, football is a really simplistic game when you boil it down. It's 11v11 and everything else. And when you just look at it, you just go, well, okay, it's a guess at the end of the day, isn't it? Where you think Pompey would do well, and sometimes you don't. You have to put your pragmatic head on, and that. And in the build up to Peterborough were a bit of a slump of form, and then they picked up. I'm glad I was wrong on that one, and puts us 3 points ahead of where my tally kind of puts us. So if all those results come in, we're on 97 points, I think, 97, 98 points. So like the stat just before, Derby is a very, very solid, pacey front line, and I wouldn't rule out a draw, but I can see us nicking it 1-0.
I put this in our group chat earlier on. Adam saying that Derby have no natural left back fit. That is correct. Louis Sibley will be probably covering there. So if we can get an isolated Kamara, as we did so well on Friday, it could be an interesting evening. Hello to Brian, is saying 3-0. Danny will take a draw now. Lee Evans, debut on Friday. Yes, I thought controlled, solid, and just did really well and kept things ticking massively. A 1-1 draw from Bob. Daniel's living in Spain. 2-1 repeat of the 75th anniversary from Stuart on Facebook. Thank you very much indeed for that. I should say, just this chat on Barney's done it again. It was Pyros last week and now it's ticker tape. I think that is currently against ground regulations. So if you do bring in ticker tape,
there's signs all around Fratton Park saying it's not allowed.
You do so at your own risk. We
aren't mentioning toilet rolls. Does it mention toilet rolls? Bring them back.
If you actually read the list, there's some quite bizarre things on there.
We won't go into it now, I don't think. We've got a couple of minutes left. Maybe for the post-show chat, Jeff can run through all the prohibited items at Fratton Park. But bring in ticker tape at your own risk, of course, but make it special. Flags is definitely one. I think that would be really amazing. I'd love an hour's TIFO at the end of the season as well. I don't know if that's something that can be arranged or whatever, but that kind of style, obviously not ours because it's not ours anymore, but that kind of thing. Maybe promoted with all these injuries. Maybe not that. That might not really get it.
You can do that one then, Tom. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll do that. Everyone's going to be excited. Here we go. Jeff's biggest fan, Joey's in the chat saying 4-1, a proper tonking. Thank you very much for that, Joey. And Michael saying 2-0. And we'll go with Barn. What are we saying score-wise, good sir?
The head says 1-1. I think both teams will score, but I don't think either team will run away with it. However, knowing little things like that their left backs are out injured, I'm going to go for a repeat of last Friday's score. I'm going to go for 3-1 because that is also the result of when we last beat them in the league in 2008. We're in the very kit that... Which way is he? That way. I'm so confused. The very kit that Gaz is wearing. Ben Jarney got a hat-trick at Fratton Park. That's the last time we beat them in the league at Fratton Park.
Ben Jarney. Whoa. That's still my favourite chant ever, by the way. I really wanted one for Yengi, but it doesn't quite fit. He comes from Adelaide. He's gonna score today. But then you'd have to go like Cursini. Oh, hello. Oh,
wow.
You know the
did Kanu play in that? Oh, of course he did. He scored.
Kanu.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Adam Mayer. Sorry.
He's on the we're well over time. He's on the wall, isn't he, Kanu? Which is very exciting. And I'd say, and I know this is probably rogue, and I know I'm quite young, but I'd still say Kanu's the best I've seen for Pompey live. Just putting it out there in my youthful age. He was a legend. I loved him. I felt like every time Kanu came on, he scored. I know there's no science to it, but I just always feel like Kanu scored when he came on. Anyway, gentlemen, our hour is up. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Do we know who won man of the match, do we?
Yes, we do. Of course we do. It was Abu Kamara, Gaz. We did that earlier on, didn't we? Did we not do that? Or we didn't? Abu Kamara won it with 76% of the vote. So there you go. Apologies. But we kind of all knew that was coming. Jeff, thanks for joining us, mate.
Always a pleasure.
Look at that smile. Barn, I will see you on Tuesday.
See you Tuesday, mate. Quick congrats to the Moneys for beating Stoneham yesterday and putting themselves back top of the league with 3 games in hand at the top of the Wessex Prem. Up the Moneys.
We're going to Money soon, aren't we?
Money's away at Brockenhurst in a couple of weeks, yes.
We'll be there. See you, Peps.
See you in a bit, mate. Pleasure as always.
Thanks for lovely Nando's shared as well, mate. We didn't share it, did we? We both had our own, but yeah, it was good fun. We took pictures of the sunset. It was a lovely date, mate. It was date night, wasn't it? And Gaz, I don't think I got your score prediction, sir. So go with that, my son.
So I'm going to go with a comfortable Pompey win. I'm going to go with 3-0.
Oh,
wow. Okay, that's
3-0 done and dusted by half time.
I mean, what a way to end the show that is. Well, Bishop with 2, Christian with another, Kamara putting in the crosses. All very spiritually appropriate for an Easter weekend. Thanks for joining us. Keep the faith. And as always, play out Pompey.